There. This is Ideas on Truth, and I'm Lisa Taylor. Shakespeare says, "There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." So how do our thoughts control our lives, become beliefs that we believe in that control our lives, that then turn into laws that we believe in that control our lives? We need to be laws unto ourselves. There's actually a quote from this person I quote all the time, Mary Baker Eddy. She says, "Be a law unto yourself that mental malpractice cannot harm you, either when asleep or when awake." Mental malpractice, that's a whole nother topic. But being a law unto yourself means that we want to make sure that we are not taking in thoughts that turn into beliefs about ourselves, about our relationship with the world around us, about others, that then become laws of our experience. We talked the other night about creating these cause and effect relationships between the illusion of the material senses and the reality of spirit. If we believe and build a cause and effect relationship between, the example the other night was a friend who is meditating many hours a day. And he started to believe that the longer he meditated, the more peace he would achieve. Now, that's not to say that meditating a long time wouldn't help him achieve more peace, but establishing that as a rule or a law of your experience sets up a limitation. Who's to say that 1 minute of incredible, divine, metaphysical, meditative inspiration can't bring more peace than 5 hours of kind of blasé meditation that's not really connected? Of course it can. So setting up this law for yourself that a period of time, which of course we know that space and time are an illusion and time is just a mortal limit, but creating this sort of belief and law, rule, that an amount of time equates to an inspiration is just false. It's just silly. So my challenge to myself, since the last couple of days I've been thinking about this, is to examine my thinking and examine my beliefs, the underlying beliefs of my thought, and determine, are there laws that I'm setting up for myself that are determining my experience without my even realizing it, very kind of unconsciously. So I am striving to be a law unto myself. My goal is to always align myself with what is true, with what is spiritual and true, based in God, based in the all that is life, based in the creation of the universe that is spirit, that is all, that is infinite. Base my thought, my sense of myself, my identity in truth. And out from that, establish what is true in my life in the cause and effect of spirit, not of matter. So what would be an example of that? Well, contagion is actually a pretty good example, or heredity is a pretty good example. Let's take contagion. There is a very, very pervasive belief that contagion exists when there is sickness, that the sickness is a contagious thing that other people can then contract. And I've always questioned that just for myself and not understood why that only works in one direction. If I'm going to buy into that belief, which I don't want to, but let's just say I'm going to, if I'm going to buy into that belief, why wouldn't I buy into the good side of that instead of the bad side of that? Why wouldn't I believe that health, which is stronger than sickness, wouldn't be more contagious than sickness? Of course, if I'm going to buy into a belief, I'd much rather buy into that belief than the other one. So that's kind of a good example. There is a very pervasive belief that contagion is a thing, that it is a law, that people have to follow that law or succumb to it whether they like it or not. And I just rail against that. I say, no, I'm going to say I'm immune from that law because I don't consider it a law. And I'm going to challenge it in my thinking. That doesn't mean that I don't have to actively challenge it. If it is such a pervasive law, then we have to challenge it in our thought. We cannot let it into our thought as being real. Believing in it and believing that it's true is kind of the first step in making it a law for ourselves. So that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm offering that everybody listening and watching might also do, is look at your thought and look at your experience and see where it is in your thought that you are thinking something, believing something, and turning it into a law for your experience. Because as a man thinketh, so is he. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Thank you, Shakespeare. You know, we can control our experience if we can control our thinking. We can be a law unto ourselves. I want to be a law unto myself on the side of truth and good and spirit and life and love. Why would I choose to be a law and make laws for myself that are on the side of sickness and limitation and disease and death and fear? Why would I do that? We do it all the time unthinkingly, all the time, when we just accept what the general belief is. Well, here's to our freedom. Here's to standing up for our divine rights in the law of spirit and not in the law of matter. Because the laws of matter aren't laws at all. They're just beliefs. They're ingrained beliefs that we've accepted over and over and over again, and we've made them laws in our life when they really have no power. We can always appeal to the divine laws. That's what the book Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures is all about. I quote it all the time. It's an amazing science textbook. And it talks all about, the definition of Christian Science, according to Mrs. Eddy, is the law of God, the law of good, interpreting and demonstrating the divine principle and rule of universal harmony. So it's all about law and rule. And that's awesome, because if it's a law, it's demonstrable, it's provable, it's repeatable, it's applicable. We can always appeal to it. It exists as a law that just is, and we can always appeal to it, and it's always available, and that's pretty awesome. So, and it always applies to us, Anyway, all right, I love you guys. Share this, tell your friends about it, subscribe, put comments below. I really want to hear from you. This is something that I love to do, and I hope that you enjoy these ideas, and I would love to hear what you think as well. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bye. I'm going to do that again. Yes.